Hi there, Bradley, and welcome to my channel. Thanks so much for availing yourself.
Thanks, Lance. Nice to be here. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, wherever you're coming in from. Thanks so
That-
much.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. So, Bradley, like the channel is focused at entrepreneurs and business folk. So, for the people who don't maybe know you and are watching right now, maybe tell us a bit about yourself. Where you come from, how you started getting into business.
Look, it's a long conversation. I'm going to quickly make it short. Yeah, I'm born in Port Elizabeth, Salt Lake, 56 Pemplin Street. It's where I was born. And I spent my entire life growing up in Boysen Park, 72 Nooitgedagstraat. My parents are still there. And that's basically my roots. Went to Boysen Park Primary School, went to Hillside High. Very tough time during that time in the 1980s when it was, the gang ridden. It was that school was woelig, and yeah. So that was my schooling. Lived in Cape Town a little bit, then came back to Port Elizabeth. Married, and to the most beautiful woman out there in the world, guys. No disrespect to any other woman there. Got some two kids, awesome kids, and yeah, I've got a one dog, and that's about a little bit about me. And with business, it's always been for me. I wasn't always wanting to go into business. I was more like find a nice job, stability, consistency. That was something that I always looked for. But growing up without any formal education, tertiary education, school, after school, I couldn't do anything. There was no money, so I was almost like forced to go into a field where you have to make your own, realities and do what you want for yourself. So yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been a rough. Um, we'll speak about all the stuff that I've done, but it's been a rough ride. But it's also been something that you cannot unlearn what you've learned in a
Yeah.
journey like that.
Definitely. Now, so I was introduced to you when you were doing real estate. So that's I don't know how many years ago that is. That's quite a while ago. And then you didn't have your own setup yet. You were still working for Remax at the time.
Yeah.
So tell me maybe a bit about the time when just after you started, getting your own preparations done to do your own thing and leaving Remax. How was that transition?
So how it happened was, I actually when I got married, 2006. My wife was already in Cape Town. She moved to Cape Town 6 months before that. She worked there, and then I was working for my father, as a boilermaker in his business. And when we got married, I moved to Cape Town, and I had nothing to do. So that's why I started my real estate journey. I just walked into an office one day, and I asked for a job, and that's why I started. And we've been in Cape Town. We did very well for ourselves. Business was going well. Then it was a question of starting a family. And because we're in Cape Town, we have no family in Cape Town. We decided to come back home, where the support is. And that's where our journey with our own business started in, it was 2010, 2011, where we came here, we set up, not set up, but we almost fought, to get our own license, a franchise license. And we had to prove ourselves, from scratch. Um, but yeah, long story short, we got the license. We started with real estate, and we started with nothing. I mean, we bought the franchise with debt. We went into an agreement, and we had to pay it off. And we literally, I remember starting Rosen Properties, little red, not red, yellow and black cars. And I mean, we didn't have cars back then. Only thing I had was one flag that they gave me with the franchise. So when you buy a franchise, it's not like, wow, look at these people, hulle is geswish.
Mhm.
No, the only thing you buy when you get a franchise is a document that you sign, which has a lot of debt attached to it, and they gave me one flag. And I had to go build this thing called Rosen Properties that what's named after Bill Rawson. And I had to go build this business from scratch in Port Elizabeth. But luckily for us, we were passionate about that. We've done it very well in Cape Town. So we just took what we've learned in Cape Town, brought it back, and we started moving.
That's cool, man. And it was Rosen. Sorry, I said Remax earlier.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, sorry about that. So maybe just for anyone who would want to get into real estate, either starting their own thing like you did, or becoming a realtor under a franchisee. How does that process work? What does that person need to
Um,
do?
okay, so my advice would be, before you start your own business, first work for somebody. If it's 6 months, if it's a year, first make sure that what you are doing is what you enjoy doing. Okay, that's very important. You don't want to start something and then 6 months down the line, you started the business and then boom, you don't like it anymore.
Yeah.
It's in business, it doesn't work like that. There's no time to like or to not like or to smart or to not smart.
Yeah.
So my suggestion would be, or advice would be, join a team that you see is vibrant in the area, that's dominant in the area. It's got, number one, a nice support structure. They've got training, somewhere where you can learn from the basics right up to where you become skilled. And from there, you can decide, am I going to do this a business? Am I going to do my own thing? Or, am I going to just work here? Excuse me for the cough, man.
It's fine.
So for me, in the beginning, it was easier to work for somebody because, number one, I didn't have any obligation. I didn't have to make sure there's an office to maintain. There's, everything that the agent needs to work. Owner has to make sure that's there. So for me, it was easier that way. When when I become when I became a business owner, a franchisee, or whatever you want to call it, it's sort of like a whole different ball game. Here's where it really becomes tricky. Number one, if you are somebody that's passionate about real estate, that loves people, that likes to sell, that enjoy, closing deals, your salespeople, a person, and you guys must just forgive me. Sometimes the English just vaporize. So yeah,
It's
and
fine.
but I normally find my way back. But with that said, guys, it's if you're that kind of person, then a sales environment is something that you'll enjoy, which means you will thrive much better in a team environment or under a existing franchisee or owner. When you move over to owning the company, now you're moving into a different territory. Number one, you're not really into sales. The one thing you're passionate about is the one thing that you're not going to do anymore. You're not going to sell that much. You're going to have to start making sure the business runs, business operates, business makes money. You're going to have to look after the business interests and the fact that the business still needs to be there next month and the month after that. So those two things are worlds apart. I've had people work for me that excel. They've done so good. They sell like between 10 and 15 houses every month. And, sometimes they would break away thinking, I'm ready. I'm going to buy. Not knowing that the two things are worlds apart. It's not the same.
Mm.
The excellence and the skill that you've acquired here means giving it up for what you choose to do here. And
Yeah.
that's my one advice that I would give anybody that want to go into the real estate industry. Start at the bottom. It's the best place you can be. No,
Mm.
don't be ashamed of starting at the bottom. Even if you're 50 years old or 60 years old and you have to join a company and there's a 21-year-old sitting next to you, it's all right. Start at the bottom, work your way up, and you'll sort of tend to figure out that, you know what, I'm making more money selling as an agent than making money as owning the company.
Yeah.
And that's another topic that we can discuss on at the
That's awesome,
latest date.
man. That's cool. Yeah, I do want to actually touch on that because from Rosen Properties, you branched out and actually did Bradley Murray Properties, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yes.
so you broke away totally from a very well-known entity into your own. And how was that? Was it complicated? What is there like legalities around that? Obviously, because you worked for Rosen. How did that work?
Okay, so the reason why we've done that is, so Rosen was just a franchise, and any
Yeah.
franchise is a contract, a piece of paper. So every contract that you enter into has got a start date, it's got an end date. Now for us, it was 5 or 6 years. Um, I think it was 6 years. Now you have to decide getting to the first 6 years, what's your next move going to be? Because the next contract that you sign, you take on, you're only going to be able to get to that point of deciding again in your 12th year, you know. So one of the things that when we started, we were young, we were excited, and I think we were the youngest franchisees in that company at the time, 27 or 26 years old. And you're excited. You just want to do, you've been top agent throughout the country, in provinces, and now you want to run this business. So the first one, we sort of just signed, here's my flag. I want to go work now. Here's my contract, here's my flag. I'm going to buy, and I'm going to put the franchise. Come home, I put on my flag and I'm going to do business. So it was like that. My first girlfriend kind of set up, man.
Okay.
Goosebumps, and
Yeah.
and hair's gel, and then the second time around, now I've got two kids. I've got a wife, I've got two kids, and the business side of running this setup has now caught up to me. I know now that I haven't sold the property personally in almost 2 or 3 years. I've got many agents working for me, but I'm so focused on making sure that they bring in the business and they've got work to do and the company survive. So after the 6th year, we had to decide, are we going to continue, sign again for the next 6 years? And then the second time, we sort of just read through the contract, um, like with both eyes open. And there were some clauses that really, if we knew in the beginning, like it was stuff like if I had to pass away during my contract time, my wife couldn't just take the business. The business will go back to the main company, and she would have to buy it back. So something that we've
Wow.
built together, if
Yeah.
I had to die, she wouldn't, not get anything.
Yeah.
And that was like, what? Did we really, do that? And that was one of many other things, man. So we had to decide, look, are we going to build? What are we going to build after this? When the 6 years is done, are we building something that is not going to last for us as a family? Or are we starting from scratch and building something that will be ours forever?
Mm.
And that's where let's really draw the line between owning Rawson properties in Port Elizabeth and moving over to our own little brand, even if it means we start from scratch. And it was a difficult challenge. It did come with a heavy, punishment and stuff that really just almost crippled us. But that's one of the choices that we decided to make. And I
Yeah.
mean, so far it's been nothing but blessing to us.
I believe you. Yeah. And looking at where you've come from doing real estate into diversifying a bit because at this moment you've taken a total different turn in terms of business, something that's very interesting. It's so out there that not many people even understand what you're doing right now at the moment. But maybe
Yeah.
before I speak about that, what made you decide to leave the real estate industry and move into what you are in now?
Okay, so for many people, it would seem that we left the industry. We've always been in the industry. The only thing that we really cut off was the service part of being in that industry. So we left the selling of houses, which means we don't really sell houses for clients anymore. But we've always been like looking for bargains, buying up one, fixing it up, and selling it. So we've always been in that industry, and I think that's something that will probably never go away. If
Okay.
there's a bargain, we'll always see, how can we make? Can we get it? Sometimes if money is tight, we'll phone a few friends and say, guys, there's an opportunity. This is the price. We spend so much, we can make so much back. So that's something that it's still there. It's still running nicely.
Yeah.
And but the side where you now have to run the business, we just put that on hold. We put it one side, and then by making that change, all of a sudden we had all this time on your hands. You can do a lot of things. You start looking at things, and
Mm.
once you're in business, you always look for you know extra ways to make money. And for a while, I explored the whole project side of maintenance and building and construction within my Bradley Murray property group business.
Yeah.
And it went well for a while, but it really wasn't my cup of tea. I really
Okay.
didn't enjoy making sure there's cement on site, or I
Yeah.
just yeah it just didn't sit lekker with,
Yeah.
you know so yeah, we started looking. I think it was 2016 or 2015, end of 2015 towards 2016, when I think one of my friends started talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, I didn't know anything about it. And back then it was 2,875 Rand for one Bitcoin. I'll never forget that amount, because that's the first time that I heard about this thing, and the price alone, I couldn't justify how you can buy, well, at that time, how you can buy nothing for 2,875 Rand.
Yeah.
So it just brushed off. And the next time I heard about it again, it was 17,000. And I was like, what? So we started showing interest in the whole idea about it. And I think what made it easier, or fast tracked our journey with cryptocurrencies, was the fact that my wife is a software engineer. She builds software, she's a coder. So she's more technical than me. And she understands maybe a little bit more about how the blockchain works and how hash powers and AML, those behind the scene stuff, that makes
Yeah.
Bitcoin. So that made sense to her in terms of technology wise. And my wife is a little bit more smarter than, well, a lot more smarter than me. So if she knows, then it must be something. And that's where our journey started. We started looking. And, for somebody that's new, exploring, unfortunately, you run against walls. You put your money in places that it sounds right, and then boom, it's gone,
Yeah.
because you don't know any better.
Yeah.
You know Bitcoin, and the next time you hear about Bitcoin, this guy is telling you, "No, I'm making so much money, and put your money here." And it was like, whew, gone. And the first time, the hardest lesson is losing 180,000 Rand in Bitcoin investment. That was the first and the last time that I've ever lost any money in Bitcoin investments. Um, for me, it was simple. If if I could learn what this is all about, then I can almost like know what's going to happen. If I
Mhm.
just knew, if I knew back then what I knew now, I would know what to ask. I
The
would know the
cliche.
questions I would ask people. I
Yeah.
would know. I wouldn't even lose a cent. But
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate, that you
Just
go
just
through that.
just talking about that, sorry, Bradley, to cut you short there before you go on, and I can see where you're going now. So maybe before you go on, being involved in cryptocurrencies now after the real estate journey that you had, what are things that people can actually look out for in terms of scams? Because there's been so many scams around cryptocurrencies specifically. I know, I mean, lots of youngsters jumped in on so many things. I myself was one of them actually who got involved in
Yeah.
something with you actually, where the whole thing turned out to be probably the biggest scam that I could think about probably in a
Yeah.
century. But what do you think, or what can you tell people they should look out for in terms of proper places to put their money when it comes to cryptocurrencies?
Mm. Yeah, I believe in doing your homework, right? So if you're going to put your money somewhere, first do a little bit due diligence as far as what you can, and then after that you go to Google, go check it out. May go look at reviews, look at their page, if they have a page, Google them, see if they have an address. If they really have an address on their website, do a Google Maps, see if it corresponds. Um, do like a search where you can see where this website is hosted, where does most of the traffic come from, you know. Um, but there is a lot of scams out there. There definitely is a lot of scams. The one thing that everybody needs to know when it comes to any kind of cryptocurrencies is that you can do it without the help of anybody. You don't need to give your money to somebody else. You literally, if you have a phone or a laptop, you can buy Bitcoin in your lounge without asking anybody anything, and you can have Bitcoin. There's a lot of YouTube videos that can show you how to grow your own Bitcoin, you know, and that is a one thing that's been stronger, like strong after going through that one scam and losing so much money. And that
Mhm.
was at the time when we couldn't afford to lose that money. You know, um, our emphasis has always been about teaching, teaching, teaching. And at first, teaching was at your own cost. You didn't really make money. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, we sort of built a business plan and a business model around it, where that teaching is now grown into this whole new business and running globally. Um, yeah, so I would say the first thing is try and do due diligence, try and do research. Who is the company? Who is the person? Where does your money go? There's one scam that's very, very vibrant at the moment. It's where they ask you to pay 5,000 or 8,000 rand, and by in 7 days you'll have like 50 or 60,000 rand. There's no such thing like that, guys. Even
Yeah.
if you are one of the best traders out there, there's no way that you can times 400 or times 500 your money in a few days' time. The markets just doesn't work like that. If you trade, sometimes you'll make a good day. I made 10% today, 10.13%. 10.13% I made today personally on my own portfolio. But guess what? Yesterday I haven't made a cent. Day
Mhm.
before that I didn't make a cent because the markets are not always in your favor.
Yeah.
So be careful with that. If somebody asks you to give you money in order for you to get more money, run away. Put your money under your mattress, buy bubble gum or something. It'll be safer and you'll enjoy your money.
Definitely, don't get caught up in those scams. So,
Mhm.
talking about you mentioned trading now, and this is what your new, or let me not say new, your current business, what you're doing now with Coinbit Pro, is focused on. And you mentioned the teaching part as well. So maybe run us through what exactly Coinbit Pro does.
Okay. So Coinbase was founded last year around about March 2019. And it was founded on the basis of education, teaching. That's it. So what we've done is we developed a course, an entry-level course and a pro-level course. So it's a similar for you that if you're going to become a electrician, a boiler maker, or anything that you need to go study for, that you will first go study, get the skill, apply it into your workplace, and that's how you will earn your money. So we designed a course that teach you how to trade. No, but not just about trading. It's basically everything about cryptocurrencies, where it come from, how it operates, how to keep your money safe. You know, because cryptocurrency is one of the things you can lose easily. You get your private keys, your money is gone. Um, so we teach the whole goodies. So when we roll it out the online version only. And this was last year, and this was, before COVID-19. I mean, we didn't even know COVID-19. But when we roll it out, and we didn't expect that the course would do so well. So same like you would sell a book, we sell our course online, and people worldwide just started buying it. And I think in the last year and 6 months, we've managed to grow, our, I don't want to call it students, but people using our course, buying our licenses. in over 70 countries right around the world. I lost track, but it's thousands of people that's already bought our course. And what we sort of done with the course, just to for sustainability on the company side, we kept on adding new things to the course. The same like you would study anything else, you know, you that's what we built. And so far it's been good. Now, when we founded the company, it was basically just on that one basis of education, and we sort of just built onto that. Now we sold to thousands of people. I think 7 or 8,000 people in about 70 countries. And not all of them use it. You know, it's like buying the gym membership, and then most of us know what happens.
Yeah.
You buy the gym membership. The first month you are excited, got new techies, new tights, new everything, even a water bottle, and you got your Herbalife shake. And then it's 2 weeks later, your membership is still there, but no you. It's the same
Hmm.
thing. So people started buying a course, but they don't use it. At the later stage, they started turning to us, but you know what? We've been trading. I've been trading for the last 2 or 3 years, and so has my partners. And people started asking us, please trade for me, please trade for me. And for almost a year, we didn't want to go down that avenue because it's just a different ball game when you play with somebody else's money versus your own money. For me, I would do higher risk trades. I would be okay if I lose 5 or 10%. I'll make it up over time. But when you talk about other people's money, it's really a different ball game. So it took us really a year to say no, 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 never, never, nee, 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 nee. you know, until we decided, okay, let's build something just for this, something extremely low risk where people cannot lose their money unless somebody steals it, unless the exchange is shut down and run away with the money, but something very low risk and something that is really a phase in our business that it's not one of our main phases. Um, it's something just to take the members to, a portion where they can make a little bit of extra money. Okay, so when we started at about October of this year, and so far it's been good. But what we do with this as well, we always encourage the people to go back to the course and learn to trade yourself. And how we do that is that we give them the course absolutely free now. Our basic intro course where you have to pay for, had to pay for before, we now give it to them absolutely free in the hopes that they will, do the skill, learn the skill themselves and
Yeah.
apply it and make their own money, you know. So that's sort of where we are now in phase 2 of our company. And we've got 6 more phases to come. So we've got a long, list of business that must still come. But for now, taking it day by
Yeah.
day. We actually
That's
launched today. Tomorrow will be our first day that we launching our Coinbit Pro Academy, which is currently in Port Elizabeth. Um, so we are in the process of registering as a not as a full blown college, but just as a place that you can do a course, but it's also accredited. So
okay.
tomorrow we've got a fully booked, sold out 3-day course where student comes in. They come into the physical, to our physical office, and we've got a little nice training center there. And that's where it starts, and that's something that really wasn't on the chart, on the plan, you know.
Yeah.
But as we grow, it just starts adding and adding and adding more. So we're excited for that part as well, where people can physically come and sit and learn a skill.
Mm.
Um, we managed to give away, I think, 4 or 5 bursaries for that as well. Um, and these are all youngsters. And you know what? The unfortunate part is that these are youngsters with a qualification. Some has
Mm.
got not a PhD, but what do you call this? Industrial psychology. What is it? Uh, you
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
but they've got the qualification, and there's
Yeah.
absolutely nothing they can do with it.
Okay.
So yeah, we're excited about this portion in the business right now.
That's awesome, man. I mean, that's a real lots of progress. So just maybe for people who doesn't really understand cryptos and trading and that sort of thing, if you had to break it down for someone, how would you explain that? to a newbie who doesn't know anything about that?
Okay, so first let's start with crypto. Crypto is it's rands and dollars and pounds and whatever currency you can find, but on 100% digital format. Now, when I say digital, let's take when our parents used to work. Yeah? When my father used to work in a factory many years ago, on a Friday he would get paid in a brown envelope, and his salary would be on there, the amount of hours he worked, the rand per hour he would get, it would all be there, and they will give it to him physically. Okay, that is what how he used to be paid. And then along came the years where bank accounts started to have EFTs and transfers. And now instead of getting the brown paper, he now gets his money on his card. So his money has moved from a physical form to a digital form. Okay. So now we understand digital form, because right now we buy airtime, we send money, we do EFTs. We've been working on a digital format with our own money for many years.
Yeah.
So now the only difference between cryptocurrencies and the normal way of us doing it is that it's no more a rand. Instead, it's a Bitcoin or an Ethereum. So it's just a digital currency that you can have and own. Now, 10 years ago, this thing was worth absolutely nothing. And to put it in perspective, when we had World Cup in South Africa 2010, you could buy one Bitcoin for 1.45 rand. And that is less than a grandpa, you know. So as you buy a grandpa drink it in 2010, every time you drink a grandpa, it's a Bitcoin's worth of money that you had. Today, that same Bitcoin is worth over 300,000 rand for you to buy that. So Bitcoin has become this store of value, even though it's a digital currency, it's just money in a digital form, but the value has increased so much there. It's not competing with our rands anymore. It's competing with the golds and the silvers, you know, and all these commodities that's up there, right? So that's cryptocurrency. Trading is buying and selling of that cryptocurrency. Now, trading is exactly the same as running a spaza shop, having a taxi. You have to wake up in the morning. You have to go buy your fruit and veg. You have to make sure you get it for a very good price. When you bring it back to the market, the consumer, you will now sell your product for a little bit more. Okay, that's what we call trade. You buy for cheap, you sell for more. The difference becomes a profit, right? So that's the same thing with Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin is traded on an exchange where people are buying and selling on a daily basis, you might find it at 10 o'clock, if you get too late to your market, and I know this for a fact, my father had a shop, and I had to go buy fruit and veg at 4 in the morning. If I get there at 6, I'll get the worst veg ever. You know, the guy down the street would outsell me because he kreeg die groot kool and I got the small kool, because timing is the main thing.
Yeah.
Get there late, you get what you get. Same thing with trading. Sometimes you wake up, Bitcoin is 290, and later the day it's 300,000. What happened to the balance? It's a 10,000 in balance. If you buy it cheap, you just have to make sure you sell it for more than what you pay. You know, so that is basically trading. It's very easy once you understand it. The concept, I'm sure everybody understands. Everybody's, you know.
Yeah, that's actually a real practical way of explaining it. And I mean, I didn't even think of explaining it in that way ever. You know, to me, it's I'm also more of a techie, so you know, I would rather go into the technical details instead of that
Yeah,
real world example. Which I mean, yeah, that's brilliant actually.
yeah. And that's what makes it
Explaining.
so easy. The
Yeah.
whole cryptocurrency space right now, if you have a cell phone and you have, let's say you have $100 or 150 or 200 bucks, 200 rand, you got a cell phone. You can download for free Luno, which is an app. You can put your 100 rand in there. You can just follow that basic steps. I'm gonna buy this for cheap. I'm gonna sell it for more, and then you do it. You do it all day, every day. You know, you can sit in a taxi and make your 100 Rand turn into 110 Rand, 102 Rand, 105 Rand. And that is basically trading in a nutshell. Yeah,
Definitely.
there's no, there's
Before
no,
we lose track of the actual points, and I'm lost in what you're saying right now because it's so good. But getting back to the business side of what you do, or of you at least, let's go there. So just a few more questions for you personally. So with your journey in business, did you ever have a mentor?
yeah, that's a very good question. I've not always had a mentor. I've always had people that I look up to. Um, but I've never had really somebody I could go and sit and talk to and discuss things.
Okay.
The last person that guided me was my previous boss in Cape Town, in Rosen Properties. And she was a brilliant person in terms of teaching. And she was the one that made me see past being an agent. She was the
Mhm.
one that made me see the business things side of things, not just the nice things, the
Yeah.
hard things as well.
Okay.
Why she cannot give you more um, on your deals, why the percentage, why that company will give you like 70%, but she can only give you 50%. And she would teach me those things, and it would make sense, you know. So that was in Cape Town. When I came back to PE, I sort of always kept in touch with her, but most of the things was through reading books and reading stories and just following certain people and their journey. And it's tough because you don't really know the truth of that journey.
Hmm.
You only know what is there available for you, you know so having a mentor is one of the best things you can do. um, I've got one or two people that I mentor now, and it's even being a mentor, it's not easy because the
Hmm.
lighties don't want to listen. It's they want to feel first,
Yeah.
and it's fine, but when you see somebody going really really astray, and this might affect them for many years to come, then you'll jump in. But a mentor is one of the most important things that you can have
Yeah.
out there. I've had one for a small period, but the rest was just, looking at people and following. Um, and like I'm just a kick up na jou.
Yeah.
So I'll watch you on a daily basis. What
Yeah.
maak man nou? You
Yeah.
know.
And sometimes they say also experience is the best mentor. Probably
Mm,
later in life, not in the beginning.
yeah,
But
yeah.
seeing that you had a mentor, and understandably now you don't have one, but you are one, would you advise someone to have or go out looking for a mentor in the early stages or even as they progress?
Yeah, I actually, right now, the way I see things now, I think everybody should have a mentor. So a mentor doesn't just have to be a business mentor. It can be a friend, um, a relationship, people you look up to in relationship. You always have to have somebody you can fall back on.
Yeah.
You know, um, so that is very important. I would strongly advise and recommend get a mentor, number one, for your business, somebody that you look up to, somebody that you can respect, but also take advice. And um, if they speak hard and loud, and that you'll be able to take that. You know, same in your personal life, in your marriage, in your relationships. It's nice to have a mentor. You'll find that you can do so much more in a small period of time by getting the right advice.
Yeah.
And that's normally free. That's normally free.
Yeah. Definitely. Awesome. So, if you watch a lot of YouTube or documentaries on these bigger players and CEOs specifically, like in the States, you see that they most of them have these routines that they do, whether it's waking up early in the morning at 5 o'clock, or going for a run before you have breakfast or before you start your day. Do you have something like that you do?
Oh yes. So I've got a cycle that I do. I normally wake up early if I can. Sometimes
Mm.
um, I go through. what do you call it now? Jy praat met jouself pas. Jy lig jouself op.
Okay.
Self-affirmation. So I've got this thing where I've got my goals written down. I look at them. Sometimes it's not physically written. Sometimes it's in pictures.
Okay.
You know, the house that we're staying in now was something that we drew, and it was a picture once upon a time. And I look at those things, and I look at the price it's going to cost me to achieve these things. You know, and sometimes it's not wow things. I'm talking about it. Sometimes it's just an invoice for the schools, the invoice for the kids at schools.
Yeah.
You know, you look at this thing like, okay, I need to overcome you. And then you look at the next thing, okay, you pak je tires nodig. You know, then you wanna, you know, maybe may do something a little bigger and you say, okay, right, we've outgrown this, we wanna move there, we wanna get this. So these are all things that when you wake up, I look at these things and instantly, I don't have to want it badly. I just know instantly what I need to put in today to make these things happen.
Okay.
Now it can be anything. It can be a car, it can be your first car, it can be really something big for your family. It can be something that's really important for you personally. But having a mechanism that you can look at and it triggers something. That's a very important thing. The trigger is something that you have to do. Now, while talking about the trigger, there's always going to be your off days. Every day, everybody's got an off day. Some people goes off weeks, others got off months.
Yeah.
I know people has got off 6 months, off years, and they just never bounce back. So I'm all in favor for having your day, your pity party, your day where it's just moping and groping. I've got nothing against that. But I also believe that it has to be just one day. Take your day, but just make it one day. Tomorrow you go back, you look at what you need to achieve, what you need to put in, and for that day you put in what is required to make those goals or your list a reality. And that normally comes with waking up when you don't want to wake up. Doing the extra hours when you don't want to. Coming home and doing calls. Calls like this it's maybe after hours, but you're working on something constantly.
Yeah.
So I believe that's something everybody must have it. Find your own thing. Don't copy somebody else's. You're not going to get the same results that the other guy does.
Yeah.
Swims 5 laps in the ocean. If I had to swim, I'll be dead by now. 200 meters, I'll be. Find what works for you, what motivates you. It has to be personalized.
Yeah.
And in a nutshell, what it is you finding something that you yourself can motivate yourself. The moment you find the thing that helps you motivate yourself without outside influences, that is the thing that will take you, that will take you further in your business.
That's awesome, man. So maybe just to start wrapping up now, what is the one piece of advice that you can offer new entrepreneurs or people who are just starting out, or maybe they haven't started yet but they want to start something? What's the one piece of advice through your journey that you've learned that you would share with that person?
Yeah, I think it's the common one that you find on a daily basis. You always find it in church, in books, in motivational talks. It's a saying that don't be afraid to fail. Fail, get done with it, and move on. The quicker you fail, the closer you are to success, whatever success is for you. And we've been through so many difficult times, and many stuff people don't even know about. I mean, I had the sheriff in my house that repossessed all my furniture. And then I get home with my kids and I have to tell them, no, we're getting it clean. And they couldn't understand why we're getting a fridge cleaned. Why is the house empty? Because, stuff like this, man. I'm talking about hardships. And these are stuff that really, it takes you to a dark place. And that dark place is some place where you have to get out yourself, right? And that's one of the things that you fail. Don't be afraid of that. If it's a fridge, my bro. Let them take the fridge. Don't be afraid of that. Um, but it also comes with the important thing is also coming with a mentor so that you don't make those mistakes in your business. Right? That the sheriff don't come and take your stuff.
Yeah.
It was stupid. It's really stupid things. But if you don't know, you don't know. You have to
Yeah.
learn it. You have to learn the hard way. So yeah, don't be afraid to make the decisions. When you're going to start a business, do it 100%. Don't start and then give up and then try something else and then give up and then start. Stay consistent to one thing, master it, become the expert in it. If you're going to be a barber, if you're going to be an electrician, if you're going to be whatever you're going to be, whatever your business is, make sure that when people look at you, they number one, they see you as the master in that industry. You know, you own that industry. You rise up as a leader in that industry. When you speak about your business and your industry as if you know it all. You know the best. You know everything there is to know about it. And
Mm.
I'm not saying just talk about it. I'm saying learn and what you say must be
Yeah.
truthful, right? Um, the other thing I want to encourage, if you're married and you've got, and I'm speaking to the ladies here and I'm speaking to the husbands, if your husband is starting a business, right? The best thing you can do for that husband that will make him succeed already 50 to 90% is when you support that husband with everything. Give him support and then he'll show you what you can do. And that's just the truth about any relationship and any business. Um, if a wife pushes her husband or a husband pushes a wife, vice versa, there needs to be that support. If the support is not there, it's going to be tough. I can tell you now. It's going to be tough. Sometimes you're going to just jump back and want to go work and get your pay slip and come
Mhm.
back home and relax after hours, you
Yeah.
know? But the business, and I'm getting to the after hours now, the business needs to have support from all sides. If you are a friend, and I'm going to speak this now um, truthfully. If your friend has a business, please don't ask him or her for discounts. Don't be that friend
Mm.
that wanna borrow something that your friend is selling. You know,
Yeah.
don't be that kind of person. You're not building them. You're breaking them down. You're destroying their business before it even starts.
Yeah.
If that is you, almost like an altar call. Um, you need to distance yourself from people like that
Repent.
and friends like that. Yeah. If your friends cannot pay full price in your business, then you have to question the friendship.
Mm.
That's just my personal opinion. But I'm talking to the friends.
Yeah.
Pay full price in your friend's business. If you come to his business and you were supposed to be second, but there's more people, stand in line. Let the other people go first. You know,
Mm.
make sure his business gets the proper respect from the community. Make sure that you are help building it basically in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and that in a nutshell is one of the most important things that I can say is the support structure from friends, family, and not giving up, and also realizing that there is no hours in business. There's no 8 o'clock and 5 o'clock, or 9 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Those things doesn't exist.
Mhm.
Um, time is what you put in. If you need to put in hours, you put in your hours. You make it work. So
Yeah.
that's a challenging part about any business. Put in the hours, and afterwards, you'll see the business will start working back for you. And I think that's about it, Lance,
That
that I
is
can think of
awesome.
now off the top of my head.
No, well, that's more than one thing. That's a good couple of things, and I think they're all quite good. So whoever listens to this needs to take that to heart, and especially I like the part that you were saying about the friends asking for discount because that's actually a common thing in our communities. When your friend has maybe whatever store, if they're just selling groceries, for example, then you'll always get that people will come and say, you know what, I've only got so much. So you want to just give me all of this? Yeah, and I believe you, it can hurt whatever business it is that the person is doing.
True.
So
That's so.
just Bradley, if anyone wants to reach out to you, where can they catch you? Where can they meet up with you?
So yeah, On Facebook, Bradley Murray, I'm there. And just check me out. That's about all the only place I hang out is on Facebook. I've got an Instagram account. I've got a LinkedIn account. My wife set it up. I've got no idea how to get in there. So you can check, but I won't be there. I think on Facebook is where I do most of my business. And that's about, and then, yeah, WhatsApp. My WhatsApps and stuff are on Facebook as well. But yeah,
Okay.
otherwise you can check me in the streets. I'm always at, Burger Palace in Corsten for a roti or La Fiesta for a thrift box. So you can
Nice,
check me
awesome,
around there.
man. So if people want to check out Coinbit Pro, where can they go to for that?
So they can just go to coinbitpro.com or coinbitpro.co.za.
Awesome.
Both those ones. If you are always in Europe, you can do coinbitpro.co.uk. And for the rest of the world, it's just coinbitpro.co. But it all goes to the same site. You guys can check it out there. You're more than welcome to check us on Facebook, Coinbit Pro World or Coinbit Pro. There's a few pages there. You'll see what it's all about. All our products are in there, our communities are there, our charity foundations are there as well. So you're more than welcome to jump in there and see, what you can do. And then,
Awesome.
yeah, just say away or something.
Awesome. No, awesome, cool. So what I'll do is I'll put everything down in the description, and then people can obviously link to that from there. But thank you so much for your time, Bradley. I don't want to keep us much longer. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey. It's really been good to hear everything from you, and I'm sure it's going to inspire a ton of people.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the time and thank you for bringing me up here. Uh, I enjoy this. I'm gonna actually enjoy. My wife is gonna enjoy listening to this thing. Check if my pronunciations was correct and my English was on
The
track.
teacher's going to grade you.
Hey, my
No,
bro.
no, awesome. Thanks, Bradley.
All right, man. Thanks. Cheers.